Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I got another great one here for you. GoldMand. I did a white paper review of this about 2 weeks ago. I was very impressed with the white paper review. I've been doing some additional research over the last couple of weeks around the game and keeping an eye on it. And what can I say? I am impressed with the game. So much to the point where I've gone out and I've gotten a few NFTs and I've been testing the game out and have decided to include it in my normal list of games that I play regularly. So keep an eye out for more videos around this. I'm going to be, as they do updates, I'll be doing updates as additional gameplay is added, and I'll continue to do that and make more content for you. But as far as today, I wanted to go ahead and go one step further from just a white paper review and actually show you the actual gameplay as if you had your own NFTs, what the game actually looks like. So I won't go through the website in great detail because I did that in the white paper review. If you want to check that out, you can take a look at it in my videos. But as far as the gameplay itself, if you click on this button up here or this one here, it's going to take you over to the game. And when you first go over to the game, it's going to ask you essentially what race that you want to go into. And I'm only going to dive into the white papers here just for a few minutes because I'm beyond this phase. I can't actually show you this. But it's going to essentially ask you if you which one of these races, the Alvars, the humans, or the Sevars, that you want to pick. I ended up picking the humans before I actually got NFTs. But you can switch it for a fee. You can switch, but I decided to stick with the humans. Um, Picking the race is important because you need to pick the tools that go along with the race. For example, since I picked humans, I cannot use the tools for Alvars or Sevars. It just won't work out. So you have to make sure that you buy the correct tools unless you're planning to change races, which again is a fee, which will cost you some tokens in order to do that. Uh, the key with that is, like I said in my previous video, the humans create food, these guys create energy, and the Sevars create the minerals. So, and they all need each other in order to balance out, which makes the tokenomics of this game even more impressive. As long as there's an even span of people with the different races, they're always going to need the tokens each other, which is always going to make the tokens cycle through. Um, Obviously, if the game gets more popular, the value of the tokens will go up. So it makes it very cyclical, I guess is the correct word. Um, so let's dive into the actual game itself. Like I mentioned, I did pick the humans, and we'll go through each of the categories here. I have 3 rare NFTs for the humans. When you first get into the game, your NFTs are going to be here in what's called your wallet. This is basically your wax wallet. What you need to do is you need to select those NFTs and transfer them in game. Right now, mine are already in game. So if I clicked on this, it would actually remove them from the game. But you want to put them in game in order to be able to use them. You'll also see up here are the 4 different tokens. These are the tokens that are in your Wax wallet. They are not in the game. So keep that in mind. If you see any numbers in here, the only thing that you can use them in game for is for staking and buying additional slots. You can't actually use the tokens that are listed up here to start mining. And I'll get that in more detail, but that's an important thing that confused me initially. There's also some additional tabs here for characters, tools, passes, and so on. These will be items that will be added into the game in the future. So that's why you don't see anything down or up here. And then down here is the timer of actually the next time that you have to mine. So you can count down to when you actually have to mine. A big green flashing button will show up. So you can't really miss it. The other thing that before I jump to the next section that I noticed with this game compared to other games on Wax, the mobile design for this is very, very, very mobile friendly. It's something that the other games just for some reason skip over. They're not super mobile friendly. It is not a separate app. It is not a mobile app. It is actually designed to be mobile friendly for your browser on your phone. That is another neat thing that I found. I actually just realized that last night because I had to jump on my phone to mine. Um, so the next step in here, we already went over inventory. The next one is territories. And this will be dependent on your race. Because I'm human, I'm going to be on Earth. And then, but if you happen to change races or you have a different race, you can change planets, which gives the minerals and the energy. But you need to be those races in order to mine there. Once you're on a planet, for example, I'm on Earth, you have several different locations on that planet that you can mine. These are all rares, and then we have a legendary here. The only way that you can mine on a legendary is if you have legendary tools. So that's why I can't select this now because I just don't have the legendary tools yet. Um, but I did select this one, and the reason I selected this one, before I jump into that, it basically goes from lowest charge time to highest charge time, and also lowest multiplier to highest multiplier. As you go up in the charge time is the amount of extra time that it takes between mining. As you go up in the charge time, you go up in the multiplier. This is very similar to Alien World. So if you're familiar with Alien World, you're familiar with that concept as far as the mining and so forth. Um, this is the land that I've picked only because as the highest multiplier and the charge time, I'm okay. If I didn't do this one, I would be mining roughly every 20 to 30 minutes. Um, since there's so much to do during the day, I'm okay with the longest lead time. It has a 2.4 multiplier. You can see it's Earth up here. You can see this is food, uh, and that's at 0 as far as the amount. I believe this is the cost of the elements or the tokens in order to run on this land. It's at 0, so there's no impact there. And here just shows the timer, the charge time. If I go here to the lowest, you'll see it's slightly different. Actually, that's probably not a good example because there's no charge time listed. This has a charge time of 10 minutes instead of the 16 plus minutes of the other one, and the multiplier is only 1.5. So depending on how often you can mine, depending on how you do your thing, will determine the land. I think in the future these will have more applications. As far as the legendary goes, this would be a 3 times multiplier at 20 minutes, which is slightly longer and slightly higher of a multiplier. And the multiplier comes into effect at the next tab, the mining hub that we have here. This is where it shows your tools. And remember when I mentioned up here that these are the tokens that are within your wax wallet. These are the tokens that are actually in game for you. These are the tokens that when I go to mine, when this little green button comes up here, it uses these tokens in order to produce the food that I mentioned. Remember, I'm human, so I produce food. In order to produce food, it costs me energy and mineral. If you're a different race, for example, the Alvars, they create energy. So if you're an Alvar and you're creating energy, it's going to cost you food and mineral to create that energy. So like I said, there's a balance between all the races. As long as there's an even number of races around the world, it balances out. And then this is not this is produced. This is the in-game token, the GMD token that will be used for a number of things down the road. Um, it's the hardest to get because it's the smallest multiplier, um, but it's also the highest value in the secondary market. So depending on how you want to do that, this is the multiplier that's added up from each of the tools, the land that I showed you before. Plus, I'm going to go back to planets here in a second. There's a staking that's also can increase your multiplier. So we'll go back to that in a second. On this side is the consumption. It's basically the addition of all these percentages and the total cost of each element. For example, the next time I mine, it's going to cost me 3.66 of the mineral and 3.14 of the energy, which allows you to budget and plan what you're going to need. That's a total of about 6.8 total across these. And what I get from from mining is I get roughly around 8.7 food. So it's about 1.9 food in profit every time I mine. And then I go ahead and once I run out of these, I take that out. I go and I convert it on the Alcor market, come bring it back in and continue to mine, and I slowly profit uh, throughout the day, as long as I'm mining about every 55 minutes and 19 seconds. And that's also the time here. All right, as far as the individual cards go, it's a similar setup. You have the multiplier down here. You have the cost here. You have the alliance, which is basically the race here, and the production here. And it shows you the charge time. And then it goes ahead and shows you the percentage of each mineral. For example, each card is a little bit different. On this first card here, it's almost even as far as the mineral and energy. So it's a very balanced card. When you get to the next one here, it is very heavy energy. It's 82% energy cost, only 18% mineral. And then over here, it's the opposite. It's 88% mineral and 12% energy. So these two cards pretty much balance out for the most part. And this one has its own balance. So if you're only able to get two cards, you'll want to go with something like this. That's a balance. If you only can buy one card, you go with something like this. Obviously, depending on the cost, if you can buy two cards and you can get two of these cheap, it balances out. If I can get three cards, I ended up getting one of each because I wanted to test them out. And in total, it roughly balances. It's a little heavy on the mineral side, but it overall balances out. So is once you go ahead and click on the mining, it gives you the rewards almost instantly. So you don't have to wait till the timer ends the next time to get the rewards. When you mine, it gives you the results. It takes your uh, it consumes the mineral and the energy, and then it's a cool down period. So it's not a time to actually do the mining. It's more of a cool down. That's one of the areas that I was confused at, so I wanted to mention that. And then last but not least, this is something that I'll use down the road. Um, this is the laboratory. It's used to create items. Um, Mostly what you can do, and I'm going to scroll over a little bit so I can show an example. When I'm ready to, I can actually take the tools that I have. For example, I have this one here, and I can, if I add two pickaxes that I can get on the secondary market, plus the resources down here, I can upgrade it to an epic card, which is great. A lot of games don't allow you to blend and basically evolve your card into a higher rarity card. I think that's another feature that adds a lot of bonuses to this game. So I have the ability to continue to improve my cards. It takes some time. Once you actually go press that button to craft, it takes 24 hours to go ahead and go through that crafting process. But what happens is you can reduce that by using the GMD, which I showed you on the other screen, in order to reduce the number of hours. And I'm not sure. I haven't done the crafting yet. I'm not sure how much it costs from the GMD in order to reduce the time. But if you're impatient, which is understandable, you don't want your production to be down for 24 hours. So I can see people using that. And this you can go all the way up to legendaries and the actual artifacts themselves. You can you can boost these all the way up, which is pretty insane. And you need the artifacts. If I go back over here to the mining, I'm sorry, the artifacts can go here. I'm sorry, I was thinking amulets. The one other thing that I wanted to note, when you first start the game, there's only one slot available. You actually have to purchase the other two slots with whatever you produce. So for example, for me, in order to purchase this slot, I needed 30 food. So I needed to produce 30 food or buy it on the secondary market and then use that. In order, one of the things that caught me in order to open that slot, the food is not here. It needs to be in your wax wallet. So I pulled it in and then I pushed it back out and I lost a feed because I didn't know that. So make sure when you're opening these slots that the food or whatever element that you use is in your Wax wallet, not your in-game wallet. Then to open this slot was 70 food for me. So there was an increase in food that I needed. And they just had an announcement today that there is actually going to be another slot in here that you're going to be able to use. I don't know if it'll be in this week's update or a future update, but they're eventually going to be adding another slot. So that's an increase in production that you can do if you have the NFTs, which means I'm going to have to go get another NFT. All right. It's a simplified game, but it's actually really nice because they have the level of balance between the races. They have you can evolve your NFTs to make them better. Amulets they just announced are going to go on sale at the end of this month. So there's going to be another added element to this all, which will add multipliers. I wonder how much this will cost. There it shows. In order to upgrade and open this slot, in order to use the amulet once they go on sale, it's going to cost me 150, and you can see that. Once I have that, you go ahead and unlock it. Which the amulets are not on the market, so it doesn't make sense to unlock it quite yet. All right, and there's one more thing that I wanted to cover that was just added recently. I haven't had a ton of time to play with it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do a future video on this. They just added this into the game this week also. It is the staking for the planets. Basically, you can stake your coin, and in my case, since I'm human, I, I can stake in Earth, and I can stake the GMD and the GMF. In order to stake these coins, again, they need to be in your Wax wallet, not your in-game wallet. So if you earn them in-game, you do have to pay that 2% fee in order to take them out, which I'll do an example of that. I know this video is running kind of long, but I wanted to give you as much detail as possible. But if you go ahead, let's actually do that. If you stake it, it actually gives you an increased percentage of profit. And as you continue to stake, you actually level up, which gives you even more of a profit. I think every level is a percentage of a profit. So let me show you an example. I'm going to actually pull this out, this 8.7, and then I'm going to go ahead and stake it in the planet. So in order to pull out of your in-game wallet, you hit this minus here. It's going to pull up the screen. It's a 2% fee, and so far I've always seen 2% fee. I don't know if they're going to change that and have it be random throughout the time frame, like some games do, like between a 2 and a 5% fee or a 5 and a 10% fee. But I don't mind the 2% fee. So in order to do that, you can either type it in here, or you can just click on this and it'll give you the max. So go ahead and withdraw, and you can't see it here, but it's actually authenticating. And then you'll see it jump from the in-game wallet up here to the Wax wallet. And then now that I want to go ahead and stake this, I go back over the territories, staking onto the planet, and then for the food, you'll see it's available now. Right now, I have a increased profit of 0.05. Like I said, I haven't done much of this yet. I'm still trying to get into the game, so we're working on that. So I'm going to go ahead and stake all of this, which is it's almost going to double it, which is still not a lot, but I'm working on it. Baby steps, baby steps. And let's go ahead and stake that. And it's authenticating here, which you can't see that screen, so it's going to take a second for that to come up. And it's telling me I'm overdrawn. Why is that doing that? Let's try it one more time. Oh, well, this is a fun part of sometimes you have to refresh. That seems to be with most games. You have to occasionally refresh, and this may be something that they're working on. Let's go ahead and change servers. Maybe that's why. There we go. Now it's back up. Let's go ahead and try and stake again. Sometimes you have to refresh for it to really sync up, or wait a little bit. Let's go ahead and try and stake this again. All right, it's asking me to authenticate again, and there we go. It worked that time. As you can see, it just bumped me up from 0.05 up to 0.08. You saw this bar increase a little bit. So as you continue to stake and stake and stake, levels will go up, your percentage of profits will go up. Um, just a note for when you're on staking or removing it, it does take 72 hours. So if I wanted to remove all 20 food of this and hit the button, it's going to take 72 hours before it actually shows up in my wallet. So just be aware of that. And then we'll go over here one more time. I was just taking a look to see if the multiplier went up, but it didn't because I didn't boost it up enough. Um, but like I said, I didn't realize this video was getting that long. Sorry about that. Um, this game I enjoy. It's probably the best game that I've seen, at least in the last month, since Krypton came out. Uh, it's a game that I'm going to continue to play. I'm going to continue to invest in. Just again, my personal opinion, not financial advice. Check it out. Take a look through the white papers. You saw me actually doing it on here. You saw the percentage of profit that I get off of 3 rares. Obviously, as you go up in rarity, the profit gets better. Lead time or the charge time also gets longer, but the profit gets better. So I hope you all enjoyed this kind of video. I will be doing more on this. I'll try and get as much information out there. As I mentioned, they did provide an update just a few minutes before I actually launched this video, um, letting us know that the rental slots for the tools will be increased. Amulet sale goes on at the end of the month, and they did add a referral program. So if you go ahead and you are interested in the game and you want to play, go ahead and click my link below. There's a referral. They didn't mention at all what it is, so you'll see the referral link down there. Um, it's up to you. You can go through the GameMand.io or you can go through my referral link. I hope you enjoy this kind of video. I will be creating more for this game and future games. If you have any questions or basically anything that you want me to focus a video on for this game, go ahead and comment down below. Have a great rest of your day. I appreciate you all joining me. Thank you.